Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Chess and welcome back to Spooktober Day 27. I can't really believe that we are almost over with October already. And yeah, I actually made all these videos in September. So like basically last month. And yeah, I guess like I said as well, I prepared all of these videos like ahead of time so that I can make sure that I don't miss any single day, because the point of 1 year 365 is that we do everything every single day, right? We discuss something every single day for 365 days straight. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. Yeah, we're at 27th day, at least in my place. Your place might be still 26th, but like maybe in like I don't know, 12 hours from now you're at 27th day, right? But yeah, that's about it, I guess. Let's actually discuss about home invasion. So earlier this year, there's actually games that is called, I forgot what it's called honestly. Like yeah, like basically home invasion things, right? Games or theme, I would say. Um, Home invasion themed games, like horror games, basically from indie developers, just like usual. And also the concept of alternates, like these alternates, and what is it called again, in intruder. They invade house, right? They invade houses of people, so I guess you can consider this as home invasion as well. But yeah, it's actually quite spooky if you ask me, especially if you live alone in area that has kind of high criminality or something, or high crimes, I would say. Yeah, it's quite I would say quite spooky, right? Quite terrifying. So yeah, let's actually take a look. I haven't read this page just yet. I'm not sure if this page will be like actual, like home invasion, or it will just be like something like fictional, or like for fun thing, I would say. I don't know, like by that I mean used in games or horror movies, right? Or it's just straight crimes and we might see something else over here. I don't know. I haven't read this page just yet. As you can see at the top right corner, it's 10:09 a.m. in the morning. I actually found a new time for me to record, which is Tuesday, because Tuesday morning to evening, like straight 12 hours, I will be home alone, and therefore I can kind of, record a lot of stuff, right? And I will probably do this. Like every single week, I can actually like record. I would say like six at least, or like if I go crazy, then I can actually technically record 10 videos, right? Like that's 10 whole videos, which is insane, right? But I need that so that I can feel the this podcast over here, as well as the gameplay or playthrough, as well as other stuff as well, like the SCP, right? So yeah, home invasion. Also called a hot brawl burglary, is a subtype of burglary, or in some jurisdictions, a separately defined crime in which an offender unlawfully enters into a building residence while the occupants are inside. Well, that's just literally what it means, right? Home invasion. You invade home, basically. Yeah, like intruder, basically. The overarching intent of a hot brawl burglary can be theft, robbery, assault, sexual assault, murder, kidnapping, or another crime, either by stealth or direct force. So yeah, like robbery, basically, right? Like you enter someone else's house without permission and you just invade their house, basically. Hot prowl burglars are considered especially dangerous by law enforcement because of the potential for a violent confrontation between the occupant and the offender. Also, this is interesting as well because in the US, um, I I think there's no restriction in possessing weapon like guns. So so that people who want to invade house, they are aware that the owner of the house probably have guns, right? Like they're probably equipped with weapons. So you know uh, in contrast with that, these intruders might also use weapons in themselves, right? Like they like basically invade house carrying guns and stuff like that, right? And yeah, like obviously this is potential for violent confrontation. um like what if the occupant or the house owner, they just raise their gun, right, and then they point to the this intruder, and then the intruder responded, right, with their own guns, therefore gunfire, right, yeah, like just open fire basically. And this is bad, right, because then I guess like someone might get hurt, like someone you love or yourself, or like you just don't want to deal with this, right? I mean, as an occupant, then you have the rights to do this because you are defending, right? Like you don't um like you consider this intruder as a threat, right? So yeah, but even with this kind of situation, the home invasion, or invader or the intruder, they still kind of I would say they still do it, right? Although obviously not in really a crowded house at night, but maybe more like when the owner of the house kind of go for a while, right, like maybe 3 days 2 days at work, or even 1 week or more for vacation or something like that, and they leave the house empty, right? So this will be the perfect condition for these intruders to invade the house, right? Not that I say this is the right thing to do, obviously not, but like logically speaking, if intruders will pick house that is empty, right? By empty, I mean doesn't have occupants. Not that it's empty because the owners are poor or something like that, but it's just simply because there's no one at home. Then they can go in without any trouble, right? Without having to do violence, I would say. And yeah, historiography. Okay, so this is the first published use of the term home invasion recorded in the Oxford English Dictionary is an article in the Washington Post on 1st February 1912, with an article in the Los Angeles Times on 18 March 1925, clearly indicating the modern meaning. Okay, so this is the first published use. So it means the first use of the term home invasion in like media, basically. Like maybe you still say this word mouth to mouth, not in the published media. So it can, in that case, it can be a little bit like a little while ago before 1912, right, or 1925. So there you go. um, I guess this is the first term used in media. And then home invasion robberies were highlighted in June 1995 when the term appeared in the cover story of the FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin in an article written by Police Chief James T. Hurley of the what is FT? Featuring Lauderdale, Florida area, later republished on BNet, the online blog posted by Harvard Business School. Hurley posited that at the time the crime could be considered an alternative to bank or convenience store robberies, which were becoming more difficult to carry out due to technological advances in security. In the same article, Hurley recommended educating the public about home invasion. Before the term home invasion came into use, the term hot burglary was often used in the literature. Early preferences also used burglary of occupied homes and burglars striking an occupied residence. Um, I think hot burglary. The reason why I'm not sure, but I have to. If I have to take a guess, I think it's because hot, as in it will get intense, like heated after that, because like the occupied homes or houses, right? Because it means there are actually people inside, right? Like I said again, like if both party have guns, then it can be hot real quick, right? Like hot as in open fire. So that's why fire hot, right? Probably, if I have to take a guess, I would say that's why it's called hot burglary. Um, Connecticut Congressman Chris Murphy proposed in 2008 making home invasion a federal crime in the US. It's also quite interesting because um, 2008, considering this as a crime, this is actually quite insane because like obviously before 2008 people don't just freely do this kind of stuff, right? They will still probably get in trouble after doing this, but I guess it's now federal crime. I don't know any types of crimes in the US, so there you go. Maybe it's still a crime but not federal crime, but I guess it is then. But yeah, whatever definition. It differs from burglary in that its perpetrators have a violent intent apart from the unlawful entry itself, specific or general, much the same way as aggravated robbery. Personally taking from someone by force is differentiated from mere larceny, theft alone. Um, oh yeah, because it's invading house, right? So they might use violence, right? So yeah, like either for entry like breaking the door or breaking the windows or something like that, right? Like that in itself already use a force, right? So like a violent, I would say. And then not to mention that if there is people in the house as well, right? So yeah, it can get hot real quick. And yeah, because like burglary, you can just do this in the street, right? Like like in the crowd, like in mall, at the mall or something like that, you pickpocket stuff, right? I guess that can be considered as burglary, I would say. So yeah, there you go. Under US law, okay, I guess this is the law for that. Not legally defined federal offense throughout the US, but it is in several states such as Georgia, Michigan, Connecticut, Illinois. Oh, also, I just noticed that you pronounce Illinois. This is pronounced Illinois, not Illinois. Like I said I forgot, like a while ago, I said Illinois as Illinois. I guess it's Illinois now. Then, it's just it doesn't pronounce the S for whatever reason. And then Florida, Louisiana, and Nevada. Okay. So that's the states. Is that the states or city? I don't actually know. I think that's states, right? Yeah, I mean, in several states over here, obviously. Anyway, home invasion laws also have been introduced in the South Carolina, okay, General Assembly, and in the state of Maryland, okay, okay. Uh, on 2011, a bill making home invasion deaths a capital crime in New Hampshire or Hampshire passed the New Hampshire House without debate. Many US states include defending oneself against forcibly entry of one's home as part of their definition of justifiable homicide without any obligation to retreat. Okay, so I guess this is basically like you're allowed to use guns. I'm not entirely sure, right? I don't know any law in US, so again, I'm just an Asian. I come from small town, and I don't know any of this kind of stuff, right? Like internationally, right? So it's better if you guys from the US probably like teach me, right? Like give me explanation about these kinds of stuff. And yeah, anyway, other jurisdictions, okay. It's also quite interesting that it doesn't really mention any other country. Like I haven't really read any country whatsoever other than the US. Well, maybe Oxford is from Europe. I guess there's that, but it doesn't specify which country in the Europe though, right? All right. It's not defined as a crime in most countries other than the US, with offenders being charged according to the actual crimes committed once inside the building, such as armed robbery, rape, or murder. Oh, this is actually interesting. So you breaking into someone else's house is not a crime, but whatever after that, like if you intend to do robbery, then that's the crime. If you intend to do rape or murder, then that's also the crime. But invading someone else's house is not, which is interesting again. Well, I can say for sure in my country, in rural area where people kind of take it easy with their neighborhood. Like if you have neighbor that suddenly enter your house, then it is considered as normal. Like not really into your house and in your bedroom or anything. More like um in your terrace, basically like the front door, like they suddenly in your living room, like not really living room but more like they knock on the door, right? Because the door is open, then they can just come in and basically shout your name, right? Well, technically they are already in the house, therefore invading the house, I would say. But then again, this is not considered as crime, especially in rural area as well, because again, like people kind of taking it easy, right? Like I don't know why, but maybe it's something to do with economic as well. Like people in rural area, they're not really wealthy, right, compared to the big cities, right? Obviously, so instead of like basically they don't really have a lot of stuff, right, to begin with. Then they kind of take it easy with the neighbor as well, so they don't really build gates as well or fences around the house, which is as well again interesting, right? Like my cousins, they have house, right, in the, I would say, like in the village, like in the rural area as well. And yeah, like they don't really have fences or gates. Like after their front door, it's just to the street, like there is no other, like there's no first protection against that. So there you go, like the neighborhood can just enter the house if they want to, basically, and people don't consider that as crime whatsoever. So yeah, in English law, offenders who commit burglary while carrying a weapon can be convicted of the offense of aggravated burglary. So it's more like aggressive, right? Aggravated burglary. Even if weapon is not actually used. Okay, so that's interesting. I guess it makes sense as well. Like you use like even if you use like fake gun, like a toy gun, you can also actually got in trouble as well, because that poses the threat, right? Like it's fake gun, but there is the word gun in it, right? So it's still gun at the end of the day. Although it's fake, but it's still gun. So there you go, I guess. Carrying a weapon, right? Although it's, like again, it's weapon, fake weapon, whatever, it's still weapon, right? It used to threaten others. So there you go. In Canada, Section 348 Criminal Code provides that home invasion can be considered an aggravating circumstances in cases of breaking and entering to steal firearm, okay, forcibly confinement, robbery, break and enter with intent, extortion. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's about it? Ah, okay. Notable examples. The Lindbergh kidnapping, 1932. One year old Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. was kidnapped from his family's home in East Amwell, New Jersey, and later Wow, that's actually very morbid, and I'm sorry for that. It's literally 1 year old. It's an infant. I don't know why. Okay, so my response is that usually this kind of stuff, it's either like, I know it's sad, but kind of true. But sometimes this kind of stuff is done by people that actually know the family. So it's not really random people, right? It's not like random people. Then you go into houses, kidnap a year infant, and then do bad stuff to them. Um, it's rarely the case, right? The common case, at least here, is that they are actually like maybe relatives to the parents, like the friends, or even the close family, like like their uncle, or like stuff like that, right? Which is sad, I would say. Like, yeah, the offender perpetrated the crime by using a ladder to enter second floor of the Lindbergh residence while the family was asleep. That's actually very brave, like yeah, like they use ladder to enter the second house. Like this is also not to mention as well that usually parents put their bedrooms upstairs, right? Or even if they're downstairs, usually their kids are upstairs. So like to make it safe, right? So that if something happened in the first floor, then the first thing that they encounter is not the kids' room, right? So yeah, there you go. But this person or people, I don't know, use the ladder and go to the second floor bedroom directly. Okay, again, it's still not specified, right, who did this, right? But if I have to take a guess, I would say that this is actually someone that actually knows the family, either friends, relatives, or something like that, and it's actually not completely total stranger, because that's just messed up if it is actually random people. Like random person enter your house, kidnap your children, I would say, and then do something bad. That's just so messed up, right? Like it will be, yeah, it's just so messed up. But this one, I would say that this is actually from someone that they actually know, because like they know the specific location of the bedroom, they know the like where to hide, I guess, where to how to do stuff, right? They kind of familiar with the house, and who else if not the friends or relatives, right? So yeah, I don't know the case, so let me know down if I was true or not, at least for who did it, right? I might be wrong, but like my general presumption is that these kinds of stuff is done by people who actually know, right? Um, you don't just like not random at all, not random stranger at all. The Chauffeurs de la Drome, the Hitters of Drome, okay, were a gang of four men who carried out a series of attacks on remote dwellings in the department of Drome in southwest France. Oh, there we go, Europe. Between 1905 and 1908, they became notorious for roasting the feet of householders against the fireplace to torture them into revealing the hiding places of valuables. That's messed up. I guess like because in Europe the thing got what is it called, like the weather, right? Because the weather is probably not like not warm, and it's cold. Probably they use fireplace, right? Obviously, and yeah, they use that against the occupied, the occupant, which is again that's just messed up as well, right? Um, Responsible for as many as 18 murders, three of the gang were executed on September 22nd, 1909. The fourth died on the penal colony of Devil's Island. I don't know what that means. Penal colony? I don't know what that means again. But yeah, it's so messed up. Like, four men, right? Like, in 1909, 1908, that's just so messed up. Well-known home invasion is the November 15, 1959 quadruple murder of the Clutter family by Richard Dick Hickok, I guess, and Perry Edward Smith during a home invasion robbery in rural Holcomb, Kansas. Okay, so that's U.S. The murders were detailed in Truman Cabot's non-fictional novel In Cold Blood. However, the perpetrators were convicted of murder, not home invasion. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess because it's probably like committing murder or committing home invasion. Like if you ask me, maybe committing murder is much more terrible, right? So that's why they got convicted as that, because it's like the most, I guess, that will give the most punishment, right? But yeah, the PTK killer, okay, Wichita, Kansas. Kansas is from US, right? I don't want to get things messed up, but yeah, I think Kansas is from US. A series of sexual assaults and murders was carried out in the Wichita, Kansas area, so 1991. So that's about, what is it again? What year is it? 30 years ago, right? Um, Okay, that's been a while now, right? In most of the attacks, the offender broke into or forced his way into residence, then killed one or more people. That's also messed up. And if you ask me, I think what happened here, because they are a sexual assaults, they probably do bad stuff to them, the R word. I don't know if I have mentioned this at all or not, but I'm not gonna mention the word. And do that before eventually killing them, right? Which is again messed up. The Golden State Killer. Oh, this one actually, I think I kinda heard about this. Serial killer who was active in California murdered people between 79 and 86. His modus operandi was to break into the homes in the middle of the night and attack them as they slept, and probably do this stuff over here as well, right? Which I'm not gonna mention. Um, the Night Stalker, a series of home invasion murders, robberies plagued the Los Angeles, California area in the mid 1980s. In all, 12 murders were committed in Southern California as part of this series. Okay, so most of this is from the US, I guess. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Maybe there's also some cases that are not highlighted, right, from parts of the world, like obviously. So, this is just examples, I guess, right? We can't really then just, like, let's then just say that the US is probably the worst, right? Maybe that's not the case. Maybe there is also other case that got never got resolved from other countries as well. So yeah, don't know the actual data, right? So maybe if there's the data, then maybe we can say something about it, right? Mr. Cruel, Australian, okay. Oh, that's just bad in any sorts of. I guess that's too entirely. Yeah, that's just so messed up. I'm just gonna skip that, I guess. Wichita Massacre. This is from the Kansas as well, right? Because Wichita, I think saw this. Yeah, this one, Wichita, Kansas area. Okay. Okay. Rob five residents, force them into each other, and the attackers, and then drove them into a snowy soccer field to be. Oh, that's just so bad. One woman survived and testified against them in court, where they were given the death penalty. Well, that must have been a rough time for the women, right? Like, not only physically but also psychologically, right? Like, like mentally as well, like that's just like gives the most, like that's just the ultimate trauma, right? Especially if you survive, right? Then you will be like you can always remember those horrible memories, right? And yeah, but I'm glad that the who like these over here people that I'm not gonna say the name, they deserve what they for what they done, right? Which is the death penalty, I would say. I mean, death penalty, it's like the ultimate penalty, right? Like, I don't know. Some people said that it is less punishing as jail time, like rest of your life jail time, basically, because you cannot really suffer from the world, right? Because you're already gone, right? If you got death penalty, and I think that's what people think about it. Like, they want to basically quote unquote torture these people who have done bad stuff in jail time for the rest of their life, right? Because like if you die, then you're basically done dealing with stuff in this world, right? Sure, you will have to probably be responsible for this in the afterlife, but the thing is that that's not this world, right? So like some people said that lifetime jail is actually better than death penalty. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. I'm not gonna give opinion about that because both of them is just as bad, right? And yeah, like if you have lifetime jail time, then um, you can change into better person, right? Inside there, like you are basically cured, right? If you're if you got death penalty, then you will basically end like like basically said that you are uncurable, you're just the horrible human being, and like you end with it, right? You cannot end with your name clean. You end with your name being as a bad human, I guess. Because again, like if you're lifetime jail, then you can still be a better person, I would say. And then you can die as better person, right? Not as these like what you have done over here, right? So I guess there's that. I'm not gonna say anything else into that because obviously that's like a lot of pros and cons, right? Which is, yeah, I guess. Also, there's a lot of them as well, but I guess that will be it. See also list of films featuring home invasion. Yeah, Home Alone. Yeah, it's just Home Alone basically. The funny movies, right? Also, like I said in the beginning as well, right? I don't know where this page will lead us to. Like home invasion, I was kind of expecting a little bit of them to the movies as well, like Home Alone, which is comedy, right? Um, yeah, like family comedy type of stuff, right? Which is far more different than actual crime, right? So yeah, I was kind of confused, like not really confused, but not sure at the beginning, right? But now that since this page just showed all this stuff over here, the crimes, the examples, it's just bad, right? So yeah, I guess to not ruin the I guess the atmosphere, they put it on separate page, I guess. References, okay, and then external links as well. How to protect your home from invasion. That might be a great topics, right? Um, well, one of them being locking your door and window. And have you locked your door and window every night? Are you sure about that? You might want to check that again. But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Spooktober day 27. Next will be day 28, which will be the end of the fourth week. And after that, we will be on the last 3 days, which is 29, 30, 31, which is Halloween time, right? But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion. Stay safe, stealthy. I will see you again very, very soon. And don't forget to lock your door and windows every night. And see ya.